Hello everyone. I know this is probably not the video that you were expecting, but I highly urge you to not click away and instead watch this video all the way through. My name is Vivian, a part of Umo Inc., and I'm an aspiring creative in a variety of different mediums. I truly, truly, truly put out these videos in hopes that I get an opportunity to hopefully take part in the music video production for some of my favorite artists and artists that I really look up to, and artists whose music that I really, really love. So, as you can see by the title of this video, this is a creative conception for the music video production for Doechii, who is just going absolutely crazy right now. And it is for her song Bloom off of her recent album Alligator Bites Never Heal. Just to shift for a second, I've literally been a fan of Doechii since Persuasive was released. I think it was like 30 years ago. So I'm honestly like really excited to see her rise and to just see her um becoming more and more accomplished. Like honestly, it's like honestly really crazy to see. But shifting back, like I said before, again, this is probably not the video you were expecting, but I please, 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 please urge you to watch it all the way through. Again, I'm an aspiring creative, just trying to get my ideas out there, my video production ideas out there, hopefully to gain an opportunity. And like I said before, this is for Doechii's Bloom off of the album Alligator Bites Never Heal. So before we actually get started, I highly encourage you to also go listen to the song all the way through. It's a bit of a shorter song, but it is one of many great songs on the album. So I highly encourage you to go listen to it and then come back to my video. And if you just want a quick access, I'll put the link to the song in the description. So let's get started. So, first off, as I try to envision these ideas for my, creative conceptions when it comes to video production ideas, I try to envision opening scene, middle scenes, and then an ending scene. So, for this ending, or the opening scene, I should say, for this opening scene, I was just envisioning a TV in a flower field. And it's kind of one of those like old school TVs. I'm not sure what's the like formal name for it, but as you can see by the image that I have here, this is kind of the TV that I was envisioning. And I was just thinking about how the music video would open with the TV in this flower field, and we see Doechii on the TV talking to a therapist. I know what some of you are probably going to say, like, oh, the song is called Bloom. Oh, flowers. You're going to sound like you know who from The Devil Wears Prada. Florals for spring, groundbreaking. Yeah, I know. But it's just kind of just to tie the whole idea and conception together. So again, bloom, you're talking about flowers. So I mean, why not? So again, as the camera or as we open up on the music video, we see the camera focus on a TV in a flower field, and then as the camera pans out, we see that it's Doechii on the TV talking to a therapist. So I was actually thinking, and the reason why I put therapist actually before I say what I was going to say before is that if you listen to the song, which I really hope that you did, then you know that the opening starts with Doechii talking about how she's trying to chase her goals, but also has to check in with her family, having to make sure that her bills are paid. And then you hear somebody else's voice where they're basically like reassuring her that you just have to do the best that you can within the 24 hours that are in each day. So I was just really thinking that that other voice was almost like a therapist, but it doesn't have to be a therapist. It could also just be a friend or a mentor, somebody of that nature. But just as I was envisioning the scene, I was envisioning a therapist. And I was envisioning a therapist specifically more so just for the camera angles in terms of how on the TV we see Doechii, we see her talking, and then we're even zooming out on the TV as the camera that's focused on the TV is zooming out. So you see the therapist that Doechii is talking to, but you only see the therapist kind of from like an over the shoulder type view. So you only see the therapist from behind. I hope that kind of made sense. I know that was a super long explanation. So if you see the rest of the points that I have here, you see this asterisk or beside it. So the reason why that asterisk is there behind or in front of the last 2 points is because these were other ideas that I had, not necessarily other bad ideas. I think these ones are still pretty good, but it wasn't necessarily kind of like the main thing that I was going for. But when you're coming up with these ideas, you're not going to get everything set in stone right off the bat. So it's kind of just some other ideas that could also be incorporated into the music video, but it's not like the main idea that I was going for. So that's kind of why that asterisk is there. It's kind of just like a almost like a different focal point for what could play out. So the second to last point says multiple TVs make up a whole image. So as I was thinking about it, like I said before, I was thinking about the music video opening with the camera just focusing on one TV in this flower field. But I was also thinking about multiple TVs possibly making up the whole scene that's playing out. So like I mentioned before, we would see on the TV Doechii speaking to a therapist, and I was just thinking about multiple TVs like the image that I have here, basically being stacked upon one another and then making up the whole image or the whole video of Doechii talking. I'm sure you've probably seen something like that before, like as you know what I'm describing. And if not, I'll have a video, or I'll have an image, I should say, later on in the video to kind of give you a sense of what I'm talking about. So this last bullet point here with the asterisk, so the TVs are playing out the scene that is being described. So kind of like what I said before, or not what I said before, actually, I should say. Excuse me. So what I mean by that is the TV playing out the scene that is being described. So again, like I said before, which is that Doechii, as we see her talking to a therapist, we see her on the TV screen talking to a therapist. So another divergence of what I was thinking could happen would be that as we see or as we hear Doechii talking about her checking with her family, making sure that her bills are paid, we could also see like those kinds of scenes. So as we hear that, we see like a scene of her mom and her sisters, or we see a scene of, like Doechii in her bedroom making music, or if you've seen her YouTube videos from before where she's like talking about, jobs that she doesn't like. So as we hear those parts of the lyrics, we could also see those parts being played out on the TV screen or screens that are within this flower field. So that's kind of what I was thinking. And then this is kind of like an overview for the general scenes. Like I said before, this is a pretty short song. So I was thinking about a general overview for the scenes that come after we open on this TV. So I was thinking about Doechii, or the camera panning to Doechii sitting in a chair in the flower field. So as you can see here, I have more asterisks, and these are all general ideas that I was thinking of. Nothing really necessarily set in stone, but just like different idea paths of what could happen in the music video. These were the main ones that I like that I come up with. So and the first one that I was thinking was that after the camera pans to Doechii sitting in a chair that's also in this flower field, we just see Doechii flipping through channels on the TV. And again, like I said, hope you really listen to the song because the song is basically about growing. The song is called Bloom. Flowers bloom, they grow. The song is about growing. So I was just thinking, when we think about Doechii and what she's presented to us and how her journey has been made public, even through her YouTube channel, we kind of just see this whole idea of Doechii flipping through channels on the TV, kind of trying to wait for her moment to grow, her moment to bloom. That's like kind of what I was going for with that idea. Another thing that I was thinking of, when the camera is focused on Doechii, or even if the camera pans back to the TV or TVs, I was thinking about what kind of motion would be in the music video. I didn't want it to just be stagnated, kind of just like a fixed picture scene, or like a still picture, I should say. So I was thinking that when we have this motion in the video, we can also see the flowers blooming or swaying. And I should have added this in here, but I was just thinking it is that even as we see these little bits of motion, we could also get different camera angles. So not just like a straight on camera shot, but also like a bird's eye view or close ups of flowers that are in this field as they're blooming and swaying. All these different camera angles so that it's not just like camera focus on the TV and then camera focus on Doechii and then that's it. Those like two still scenes in the music video. So that's kind of what I was going for. And then the last point here with an asterisk, this was a complete divergence from my original idea, which was an ensemble of women in the field after the camera pans away from the TV. So if you've seen many of Doechii's performances, she always has quote unquote like backup dancers. Um, I don't want to use the term backup dancers because it's not always dancers, but it is people in the background, so it's basically just like an ensemble, like an extra ensemble to work with Doechii. And I was just thinking that another idea could be that after the camera pans away from the TV, we then see the camera swivel around to a group of women who are in this field with Doechii in the center. And I really like the creative ideas of Doechii's team, where you see in some of her performances, even on the anxiety her song Anxiety's thumbnail, you see how her braids are connected to another person. So I was thinking about how that would also be a cool idea. How, again, as after the camera pans away from the TV, we show this ensemble of women in the field with Doechii in the center, and it could be like they're all connected in some way. Whether they're connected through their clothing. I kind of wish I added this in here for visual aid, but there's a scene from one of Beyonce's projects. I think it was the Black is King project, where, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but where Beyonce and the backup dancers, they're like all connected through one long piece of clothing. I'll try to find it. But if not, I'll just like describe it to you if I can't find it. But it's like Beyonce and they're all connected through this long piece of clothing. And I was thinking something like that for the women, the ensemble of women in this field, or as Dochi's team has even done before, how they're all connected through their hair, through their braids. You know, we see flowers all over them. Like that kind of idea is another aspect of kind of like what I was going for. I hope that explanation made sense because again, that was a very long explanation. Now, this tone and lighting, so for the tone and the lighting of the scene that I was thinking of, I was thinking two different things. So on the left here, you see almost like this brighter sunny day. That's kind of what I keep envisioning as I think about this music video. And I really like that idea. I really believe that that could be like the main one, or that would be the main idea and the main tone, the main lighting. But I also was liking the more like darker angle of what this music video could be. Not darker in the sense of like something horrible happening, but just like darker lighting essentially. Obviously not super dark, but just kind of like this nice how you would describe like aesthetic image, you know what I mean? So just like this nice almost like toned down lighting in this flower field just kind of adds like a different idea. And I feel like even this darker lighting, or at least darker in comparison to the sunlight, I feel like it also kind of goes with the ambience and the not necessarily theme, but like the overall tone of the song in general. Like I said before, the song is about wanting to pursue your goals, wanting to bloom like a flower, wanting to grow like a flower. So I was even thinking, kind of like that somber tone kind of coincides with the image on the right for the kind of lighting that would probably be a good idea for this music video. So, I mean, these are two ideas. And I mean, you could even have both of these in the music video, but these are like the two main ones. And I also just add in the ending scene here for what I was thinking. I was thinking that as the song comes to a close, I still really like the idea of Doechii as like a solo figure in the music video, but this could also work if there was other people. But for the ending, I was just thinking that as the song comes to a close, we see the camera panning out on Doechii, and then again, I know this is kind of like stereotypical because we're talking about flowers, but something that I've been thinking of is just like you see Doechii like exploding into a pile of flowers. That's probably not like a super duper original idea, but that was just something that I was thinking of a couple days ago. Just seeing people like explode into different objects or into different things. I don't know if that makes sense. Hope that doesn't sound crazy. But in this video for Doechii, I was just thinking, what if the final scene that we see is her just bursting into a pile of flowers? I really like that idea. I feel like that would be a very, like, cool ending, and then again, even if it's not just Doechii and it was an ensemble cast of women, it could still also happen with them, just everybody bursting into a pile of flowers. I really like that idea. So, that's kind of my idea for the tone, the lighting, as well as the ending scene. So this is the mood board that I've made. So I also just want to say this before I continue. None of these images that I'm using for visual aid are my original images. These are all images I've sourced from the internet, from Pinterest even. I was not able to track down all the original creators of these images, but these are not my original images. But this is the mood board, like I said before, this is the mood board that I made. Again, if you kind of see what I have here, you have some women in flower fields. We have these almost like old school TVs. Also, this is kind of what I was thinking of, what I mentioned before about how it's not super duper close. It's not exactly, but it's kind of like this, where we have all these TVs having like a uniformed image. That's kind of like the idea that I was going for when I was thinking about the multiple TVs. Or again, it could also just be a singular TV. But yeah, that's kind of like what I was thinking of. And then again, you have like these chairs in a flower field, or these are sofas, I guess. Sorry if I'm a little like all over the place. But yeah, so we have some kind of chair, some kind of sofa recliner that's in this flower field after we pan away from the TV. That's kind of like the main parts of this music video because, like I said, it's a bit of a shorter song. So that's kind of like the main aspects of this music video that I was going for. Let's have a look here. And to end it off, I just want to say thank you if you watched this video all the way through. Please feel free to leave a like and a comment and subscribe, I guess. Like I said before, my name is Vivian. I'm an aspiring creative. I'm like honestly, truly just looking for my one big opportunity out here to develop my creative skills and do all these kinds of things that I've just had dreams and goals of doing. And this music video production in general is one of my bigger goals. And being able to work with all these like amazing artists and do these like creative conceptions for their music videos, that honestly is just like one of my main dreams. So yeah, this is just like a way for me to get my ideas out there and for me to hopefully get my opportunity that I've been looking for. Again, like I said, if you watch this all the way through, I really, really do appreciate that. Like I said, I'm just hoping for an opportunity, looking for an opportunity, trying to do whatever I can to get my ideas out there. If you want to even leave some advice in the comment section, that's also greatly appreciated. Anything to like make my work or my ideas better is always appreciated. But like I said, thank you for watching. My name is Vivian. I'm a part of Umo Inc. And if you haven't heard Doechii's music, go check it out. Her music is amazing, and I can't wait to see more of her next projects. So again, thank you for watching.